Today's conversation is more about our pediatric conversation, and May we're going to talk more into just the basic childhood. But today's topic is vaccines, which can be a very controversial topic. So let me give you kind of the middle ground of where vaccines are. So a vaccine basically means that a certain disease is introduced into a chemical and then introduced into either animal or human so that that particular organism can have an immune response built for that vaccine. That's typically what a vaccine is. There's two types of vaccines, some that are called live vaccines, and then there's others that are dormant. So when you're looking at a vaccine, here's becomes the issue. The vaccine itself isn't necessarily the problem, though the adjunctivants are. Now, what's an adjunctivant? It is the binding agent. Vaccines are better on their own. Measles, mumps, rubella, for example, those are 3 vaccinations. But in order to save money, they've combined them. So you take 3 highly unstable viruses and put them together, and they react poorly. So they have these dangerous adjuvants that they have been making for years. They originally created mercury to start keeping these things contaminated. And then they went to aluminum, and some of them are now egg-based. And so if you can find a practitioner to separate them for you, it's actually better to do that. Also, when it comes to vaccines, here's another thing. Vaccinations, depending on where you stand with them, I think personally the timing of the vaccine is important. So when an infant is really little, and if that infant has an opportunity to be breastfed, that's going to be its best antibodies for healing. If it can't, that might be a time for a vaccine, just depending on your situation. But I usually encourage parents to wait until the child's a little bit older so that their immune system can actually help detoxify some of these harsh chemicals that are in the vaccinations. If you can wait, or get them separated out. But who do you go see for that? I would go see Dr. Renee Johnson here in Great Falls at Northwest Family Physicians Group. She can separate out the vaccines, she can delay the schedule, and she can also do the full vaccine schedule if you want to. So the thing about vaccines is depending on where you go, daycares require them, schools require them, and so there's different ways, religious exemptions to get out of them. You can also search for different medical induced things to try to get out of a vaccine if that's not for you. The biggest thing with vaccines is, as a parent, you need to know that you are the informed person and there are options. So seek for the options that's best for your family and best for your children. And this vaccine topic can be kind of controversial. But remember, there's certain vaccines to consider that are truly a vaccine, and there's newer technologies that are RNA. Those are not considered a vaccine. Like COVID, for example, cannot be considered a vaccine. It does not classify as a vaccine. It's a chemical. It has nothing to do with COVID, so I'm not really sure that new technology with that messenger RNA, it has a different interaction, not actually COVID. So do your research, make sure you know where it's coming from. A good place to look at is the Vaccine Adverse Reaction website, or VAERS. That's a good website to go look at for information on a vaccine. Also keep in mind, vaccines do not have to be FDA tested. They just don't have to be. They are introduced into the public, and if there's a reaction, the general consensus was that the Vaccine Adverse Reaction company, they had a tolerable limit of deaths before they pull the vaccine and create a new one that was more safe and effective. but that no longer stands. They can create whatever they want, and it can be introduced into the public with no reprimands. So just make sure you do your research on where it's coming from, what's in it, and there's lots of ways to get help with these topics. And so don't be scared about approaching your practitioner about the topics. You as a parent are in control.